Hi, this is Reverend Cindy Fuller, Interquest Church. And with all the stuff that's going on, all the busyness and everybody being housebound, I thought you might want to hear a little fun story. So this is our first installment of Spiritual Fun Stories. If you like it, hit like and make a comment, and then we'll know that you would enjoy some more. So this is a story that I wanted to share. In 2001, Patrick and David and I, my son and I, went to Scotland. It had been a trip that we've been trying to manifest, and we did, and it was beautiful. It was such a God trip all around. But we landed, and then we ended up going to a timeshare in Port Sonacon, which is on Loch Awe. So we landed, we checked in, and the first several nights, I was not allowed to sleep. Apparently, in the ethers right above Loch Awe, in Port Sonacon, a clan is still living in the ethers. Now, this means that when these people died, instead of going back to God, they gathered as a clan and they still are living together. They have not crossed into the higher realms. They have not reincarnated. They're just living in the ethers together. And it's almost like a lost soul or entities that get soul earthbound. These guys are not earthbound. They're very conscious of what they're doing. They are a clan that lives in the ethers. And they did not like me being there because they figured I'd figure out they were there sooner or later. The first night I was interrogated, completely crazy. No sleep at all. And, you know, I have learned over the years that if you turn the lights on, if there's a spirit in your room and the lights are on, it kind of makes your focus go to the light versus them. Did not work. Had every light on in the hotel room, every light on. They wouldn't let me sleep. The second night, the same thing. What are you doing here? Why are you here? They just would not let me sleep. I don't know why. I think they were protecting their turf, perhaps. The third night, as I was lying down, I heard this man, a very deep man's voice, and he said, "You will sleep tonight." He had a deep Scottish accent. And I said, "Thank you," and I slept. That man, as it turned out, was the leader of the clan. Now, I don't know the clan's name. I know in that area it's the Campbell Clan. But I don't know if that was the Campbell Clan above or if they were pre-Campbell being there. Do not know. But he and I had conversations over the next few days. Now, bear in mind, I am on my best behavior because I know how relentless these guys are. So I approached everything very carefully with this clan leader. He was about 65. I could feel he was older than I was. I was in just turning 40-ish. And so he was much older than I was. And we would talk about things. And I had done a lot of soul rescue work, working with entities that are earthbound. But I approached the topic very carefully with him because I didn't want to have the same stuff happening again. So we talked about stuff. And one day I said this, trying to broach the topic that perhaps they might want to go to soul and reincarnate again. They don't have to stay there. You know, I'm just trying to move toward that topic carefully. And so I said to him, "It seems to me that you all have taken the idea of brotherhood to the detriment of individuality." And he said very calmly and very succinctly and very quickly, "In your country, it seems to me that you have taken the idea of individuality to the detriment of brotherhood." And I just stopped. Okay, it was absolutely true. There was nothing I could say. So we never did talk about souls reincarnating, lifting to the higher light, and I began to understand that they lived in a light, that they actually had a mission there in the ethers. Old and ancient one, I did not understand it. And we parted as friends. I felt very close to him, and it was a great trip and a wonderful experience for me. And that was 2001. So Fast forward, I went to Scotland again in 2011, no contact. But this past year, in August 2019, I was called on a mission to Scotland, a spiritual mission. And this time, the mission was going to take me to Kilmartin. I had to go to Kilmartin, which is near Loch Awe as well. So Kristen and I were the two on the mission, so we were driving around, and I thought, well, we could go to Kilchurn Castle. We had seen it before in 2001. It's a castle ruin on Loch Awe. Not thinking about anything, we should go to Kilchurn Castle, and then that would be on our way to Kilmartin. Well, I had my mind wrapped along driving the Scottish roads and hitting every ditch in the road and losing air in my tires, so I was very, very on edge. But we made it to Kilchurn Castle, and we parked the car, and I'm thinking we've got to find a gas station soon, but we're good. Parked the car, walked to Kilchurn Castle, toured it. It was beautiful. It was not like I'd remembered before, because it had been cleaned up. Before there was lambs, and it was just not a tourist attraction. It was now a tourist attraction. It was clean. You were welcome to walk freely about, take photos. It was beautiful. So we're at Kilchurn Castle, and I was finished, and I knew I had a long drive ahead to try to find a repair station. And as I'm walking the path to the parking lot, the clan leader came to me, and I was totally shocked. And so I stopped, and he was right there, and he said, "I brought you here so we could say goodbye." And I was so startled. And the first thing that I realized was, he and I are the same age. He was no longer the older man that I talked with. He was my peer. And he said to me, "I brought you here so I could say goodbye. We are leaving now." And he knew that that is exactly what I was going to encourage him to do before he knew my thoughts. So he was letting me know that the whole clan was leaving the area and they were going back to Seoul. They were going back to their individual journeys, that whatever their collective mission had been, it was complete. He wanted to let me know, and he kissed my head. And the love I felt was that of family. It was like I was being held in this beautiful light of home. And I felt so honored that he brought me to that space so he could speak to me. He brought me to that space so he could speak to me. So I was extremely overwhelmed and extremely grateful. And to me, that was like this beautiful circle of how we are all involved with one another, whether we realize it or not. We make relationships here, and they may not complete there, but they'll complete someplace else. And it doesn't matter if you're in flesh or in spirit. We're all working together. So it was just this beautiful, beautiful affirmation. And the Kilchurn Castle picture had been the one that had sat in my garage as I had tried to manifest this trip in 2001. It was that point of beginning, entry into Scotland, and the point of completing my mission as well last August. So, good story. If you liked it, hit I like it and leave me a comment. All right, you guys have a fun time. I hope that interrupted your day of binging. Lots of love to all. Bye.